Hi, this is our new podcast. This is called If You're Into It, and I am Pheebs, and this is my co-host, Luke.
A co-host?
Co-host. My God. I'm so sorry, I've messed this up in the first 5 minutes.
Start.
Yeah, awkward. Sorry. Yeah, I have a habit of messing things up before it's even begun, so I apologise. I'm so sorry. Do you want to tell everybody what the podcast is going to be about?
Yes, so sort of anything and everything, really. We're just going to pick a topic and see what happens, really, I guess.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. I mean, to be honest, did we ever actually think we were going to meet?
No.
No.
I never thought we'd actually meet, let alone starting a podcast on our second time meeting in person.
Yeah, I was going to say it's interesting how things work out. I mean, to be honest, I can't even remember how did we actually meet?
So
you tell the story. I can't remember.
It's a bit vague, or it's hard to remember because it was a long time ago now. It's got to be sort of going 6, maybe 7 years.
I would say 7. We've known each other for a very long time.
We met before you met your husband.
Yes.
So
I am married now.
You are married. So that's how long I've known you. You've
oh my God.
made a whole relationship and
you're still single.
Got married. And I'm still single.
Oh yes.
After I'm pretty sure I slid into your DMs.
Yeah, you did.
But because you used to do artwork and illustration.
I was a graphic designer, and I sort of remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I followed you because you used to do you still do, but the wrestling artwork, and I'm sure, did you do Star Wars stuff as well? I just made that up.
I don't remember doing Star Wars stuff.
Sorry, that's somebody else.
Yeah, well, either you followed me for Star Wars stuff, or I followed you for Star Wars stuff.
You might
I
have
remember
done,
yours.
Yeah, I did do Star Wars stuff. Wasn't very good. That's why
I enjoyed it. It was enough to make me slide in there.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the artwork that did it. Yeah, I'm sure it was the artwork and not the face card, which I serve on a daily basis. Yeah, it was so weird because I can sort of, I'm sure I've told you this, I sort of briefly remember I was sat in Starbucks in the Metro Centre. I had been to what was House of Fraser because they had a recycling programme on for MAC lipsticks, and I was a broke student, and if you brought 3 empty ones back, you got to pick a new one. So this was back in 2016 when Kylie Jenner was promoting the Velvet Teddy shade. I went in, battled loads of old grannies in the MAC section for a nice Velvet Teddy one. Went and sat in Starbucks with my little ice latte, and a DM from you popped up straight away. And I'm going to air this out here now. Okay. So you're getting exposed. Congratulations.
So I get cancelled straight away.
Yeah, you get cancelled straight away, and I am the hero in this story. I'm not really, but okay, whatever. So I'm going to be the hero today, where basically you slid into my DMs, and I kid you not, I remember exactly what you said. I wish I could go back and find the message and share this because it's so funny. But you said, I think I've seen you before on an alt dating site. I was just sat there thinking, have I been on an alt dating site? You made me straight up question my intelligence and integrity because I thought either one, I have signed up to this and I've forgotten it and we have spoken before because we might have done. Or second of all, some poor bugger out there thinks I'm good looking and is using my pictures. I don't know who the hell they were, but I thought, have you been catfished? And you think it's me? I felt so uncomfortable, and I messaged you back and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I don't actually think... I don't think you've been speaking to me. And literally, you must have known this was a ruse. You lied to me because you didn't even question it and you just launched straight into a conversation. And at the time, I wasn't with Chris, but I was coming out of a relationship with somebody else.
Right.
Which is a whole other story for another day. Not to be discussed on this episode. I will be releasing his full name, Jordan. I don't care. The people need to know exactly what it is you did. You might live in America now, but you're still not safe from me. I remember everything. But anyway, so yeah, after that we just started talking, and I mean, you were where were you living at the time?
So originally I'm from Southend in Essex.
Essex, in it. That's not even the right thing. In it.
It is. That is very.
The ends.
Very Essex. But yeah, I pretty much lived in that area and worked in Southend. So that would be around when I messaged you.
Yeah.
Not knowing you lived the other side of the country.
I thought you were going to say the world. I was like, the other side of the world. Didn't live in the other side of the world. Might as well be. The time it takes to travel from Essex to Newcastle, you could fly to various parts of the country, of the world, sorry. Oh yeah, for sure. You could literally go to like Lanzarote or something, and the time it takes to like go from like anywhere sort of down south, like up here, as they say, it's very, very grim up north. Yeah. But I know that countless times you did plan on making a journey to come and see me. You all but begged. You're like, please, let me come and visit you, my queen. And I was like, no.
Please, my queen.
Literally.
I will get a National Express to come see you. I will brave it. There was a point where like we talked about it and it was all a bit up in the air, and then it just never happened, and then life happened, or Chris happened, because a couple of months ago, after Jordan broke up with me out of nowhere and moved to America and had a child with a very ugly woman. That's not sour about it at all.
No, I am absolutely still sour about you. You know what you did. You know what you did was wrong. But I mean, I met Chris. It must have been, oh God, fast forward. We're on to 2017 now. So it must have been a whole, I don't know. Look, I feel like this is the multiverse of madness where like I can't remember times, but I met Chris or started talking to him a month before I graduated university. So I may have got the timings wrong, because I graduated university, it was in July 2017. I had just been sort of talking to him the week where I graduated. I went to Croatia afterwards on holiday pretty much straight away. Fell into a new design job, so it was all going on for me. We eventually did meet straight after that, and then I got sacked from my first design job 2 weeks later for just being really, really bad at my job. And this is why my career in design didn't work out.
Yeah, I think I briefly remember you getting that job.
I moaned about it all the time. That's probably why. I really didn't enjoy that job.
But yeah, then I think we sort of fell out of touch, sort of, I guess. And then fast forward a few years.
Then we got back in touch after that as well. Yeah, I was quite busy for like those few years, because obviously I'd lost my job. I then didn't have a job for another like 6 months or something, and then I started working at like various call centres, which I definitely don't recommend. Just putting that out there. If you're thinking of applying to any sort of energy call centre, don't do it. You've heard it from me. It will just give you like crippling depression and anxiety. So take from me. It's not worth it. But we got back in touch after that. You're still hopelessly in love with me.
Oh, of course.
And you know why.
I've been sitting by the phone that whole time, just waiting for my DMs to pop.
Praying.
Yeah.
When you were like straight up, you were going to Matt Berry my wedding and be like, Pheebs. Like, I'm so glad you didn't, because generally when I was stood there and we were doing the vows and stuff, they did the bit like in the films where it's like, if anybody chooses to object, I was like, hang on, wait a minute. Check the door, everybody.
When my best mate Josh got married, year before last, he had to sit down with all of us, all the groomsmen, and be like, I know what you're like. Don't be doing any jokes when the Britney says this, because it will stop the wedding.
Who the hell was gonna like be that mad that they purposely ruined someone else's? I mean, I would do it. Jordan, if I knew when your wedding was, this is why he didn't tell me when he got married. Well, he blocked me because I'm insane, but you know, that's another story for another day. If I knew when you were going to get married, out of pure spite, I would have come just to object. I would have travelled from the UK to wherever the hell you're living in America. I will find you. I will find you and I'll end you. And your little wife too.
And your little dog too.
Yeah, and if you've got any dogs, your little dog too.
Is it the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Your little dog Toto too.
Yeah, literally, I am the Wicked Witch.
It is me. Now you know why it didn't work out.
Right.
Chris just puts up with me, unfortunately. he's too lovely and mild mannered for his own good, really. Like I say, like sometimes I genuinely forget that I am married until I look down my hand and I'm like, there's two rings on there. Because I do not know to this day why the hell anybody would want to marry me. The face card draws them in. The mental illness should push them away. The autism should push them even further. But still, they choose to stay. What is it? The personality, the good looks. We will never know. We should bring Chris on one day as like a special guest and ask him what it is he sees in me, because I don't think he could give you a straight answer to that question. And then obviously you're currently still single at the moment because you were waiting to marry me, and I betrayed your trust and got married to another man.
I moved all the way up to the north, and then you got married.
I mean, it is. I still think it is a really odd coincidence that you did move to Newcastle. Was there a reason behind it?
It didn't work out really like weirdly, didn't it? Because like getting offered a job in Newcastle and then be like, oh, Pheebs, I'm now 15 minutes away on the train. Like, surprise.
This wasn't orchestrated at all.
No, like, it's the long con. Like, from 2017 to 2021.
Do you know what? I respect that, because you have been playing the long game with me. You really have. Like, I could never have said you haven't tried. Like, I respect that. Any girl that gets him is going to be extremely lucky, but you'll always have to compete with me, unfortunately. If he goes out with you and you look suspiciously like me, I would be worried if I was you. So, speaking of dating and stuff, how have you been finding that? How have you been navigating it?
It's god awful.
Yeah.
And I feel it's not just me in that situation, which is quite nice. Like you see on like TikTok and all those other things the kids are on. No, just people seem to just hate dating at the moment, especially like dating apps. And like, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of times you will match with someone and then they're like, even nothing will happen. You'll just have a match just sitting there and it's like, hello. I'm here. Or like you'll have like a little bit of back and forth, nothing.
Yeah, just
and you'll think it's going all right, and then nothing, and it's very off-putting. There's been a few where I thought it'd gone well. Like I felt like such a stud. So
when did you feel like a stud?
August, half a year ago by now.
Thought summer.
Hot girl summer.
Yeah.
No, I went on like 2 dates in 1 week. I was like, whoa.
Hold on, player.
Yeah,
hold
me down. So I went on these 2 dates and literally like, the first one was all right. Like, it went well. Mm-hmm. Second one went very well. A few drinks later, we were canoodling.
The tango for two.
But literally, so the weekend before, I went on work trip to Wembley.
Oh.
We covered this big wrestling event at Wembley Stadium. Perfect.
Cool.
And then, but one of the people we interviewed turned around the day after and was like, I've had COVID, or I've got COVID while I've been in the UK. It's like, bugger. Oh. Okay, well.
Nice, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, a bit late now, okay, but I'll test, and did all the right things. I tested, it came back negative.
Yeah.
So like, perfect, I can still go on these 2 dates.
Oh, no.
The second date rolls around, we're canoodling. Then the day after, I think I went to pick something up from the office, and was like, oh, like, I'm getting hot flushes.
No, the hot flush. Was it menopause?
Oh yeah, I was just sitting in the car like, oh, well,
I'm going through my menopause.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like, this feels a bit odd. Mm-hmm. But didn't think anything of it. Came back and saw a test just on the shelf behind you. It's like, I'll test. I'll just be safe. Oh, it's lit up like a Christmas tree.
The pregnancy test.
The pregnancy test is so red. You say that.
Oh,
Oh, I predicted the future.
Me being sort of a bit awkward and trying to make a joke of things.
So a man, basically.
But, typical
okay.
man. So I messaged a girl that I'd slept with the night before. She's been like, I've got some news. It's a boy. And sent a picture of the test. She hated it.
Yeah, no doy. Oh my God. If you're watching this right now, I am so sorry because I would have hit that block button so fast. Oh my God.
I think everyone I've told this story to has loved it.
It's funny, but not if it happened to me.
That's it. I feel like you had to be on the other end of it to not find it funny, but...
Oh, it's hilarious. It is just so bad that you did that.
I'm just like, it's a boy with a big picture of the test.
Oh, God.
Straight away, she's like, are you joking?
Oh, no.
Like, is this how you're choosing to tell me? I was like, yeah, sorry. You might want to get a test done.
Oh,
And then-
God.
A week goes by after being ghosted.
And she never contacted you back?
Well, she ghosted me off of the back of that, which
Okay.
I can understand.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And then I think the weekend, like a week has gone by, so I sent like just a voicemail, not a voicemail, yeah, a voice note, just being like, hey, really sorry, like obviously this wasn't planned, sorry if it upset you, blah, 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 blah. And I got a message off that, but that was like the end of it there.
Was it very dry response?
No, it was just sort of like, oh, I appreciate... Oh, this serious moment.
I'm so sorry. I have a habit of ruining things. Right. Ignore that. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, it was just like, oh, I appreciate your apology. I know you didn't mean it. It was just annoying at the time.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to take things further. It's like, okay, well, end of. Like that was sort of like, cool, fine, nice end to things.
Yeah.
And then that's what I sort of appreciate, like, with dating in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would rather be told, didn't see a spark there. Like,
Yeah, just be honest.
Yeah.
Like, communicate and tell me.
Like the last date I went on, I just thought it might have been a bit awkward, like first time meeting.
Right, okay.
We went to a few places where it was like kind of loud, like lots of loud music, stuff like that. I was like, oh, I can't really hear you like throughout most of this date.
Oh,
like,
God.
so I thought, well, I was like, oh, I was quite happy to go on a second one. Like we got on. Mm-hmm. But then straight away she was like, oh, I didn't really feel a spark or anything. I just kind of want to be friends.
Yeah.
I'm burping now.
Sorry, it's
Set it
contagious.
off. It's like hiccups. Not,
Yeah.
Listen, not hiccups like yawning.
Oh.
But that I appreciated straight away. But
Yeah.
I think as soon as it was like, yeah, do you just want to be friends? It's like, we'll send 2 messages to each other and then never speak again.
Yeah.
It's more or less what has happened. There was a day where, you know, on TikTok it says so-and-so viewed your profile.
Yeah, I turned that off because I don't want to see who's viewed it.
She viewed my profile. I was like, yeah, yeah.
This is a thing.
But so I messaged jokingly off that, just saying hi and like checking in. But literally, I think anyone that has said like, "Do you want to just be friends?" Very, very rare that you're gonna chat afterwards.
It's the kiss of death.
Yeah,
it is the kiss of death.
You're nice and I want you around, but
I don't wanna do anything else with you. I mean, I can't say it's happened to me many times. It did happen to me once, but I'm clearly not used to rejection because I took it really badly. This was years ago when I was at uni, but there was a guy I really liked. I'm not going to name him because you are actually quite nice if you still remember who I am. I'd feel really bad for naming and shaming because there was nothing wrong with it, but we went on a date at Starbucks. I really liked him. I thought he was really cool. I quite liked that we were the same height. I don't know why. Two hobbits in love. Why not? Progressive, we like it. But he just wasn't obviously feeling it. He asked me some pretty weird questions and it was like thought-provoking ones, but I was like, I don't know if I want to answer these on a first date. And the questions were so shocking. There was a couple of girls on the table behind who like looked like, are you in trouble? Like blink twice if like you need help. But he was just quite an intense person. There's nothing wrong with that. It just, our personalities clearly didn't mesh. He had a van. He had this van because his dad was like a workman or a farmer or something. And he took me back, dropped me off at uni so I could get my car and go home.
And I kissed him, and he was a really good kisser, actually. I haven't forgot about it. Still. I'm joking.
Oh.
I jest.
Dear
But,
diary, I thought about you again today.
like I say, he probably doesn't even remember who the hell I am. And after that, you know, I could tell he just wasn't into it in the kiss. It was really dry, and I was like awkwardly like, oh, I'll say my goodbyes. And I got home, he hadn't messaged or anything, and I was like, oh God. So I sent him a text, and I was like, you know, I sort of got the vibe that you didn't really like me. Do you just sort of want to stay friends? And he just said, yeah. Like, he was like, I really sort of wasn't expecting the kiss and stuff. He's like, it's nice, but like, you're just not for me. But because I hadn't experienced that rejection before, I like literally sat in my room for like 2 weeks and was like, I don't know how to process this.
It's weird. Like, even if like it's just a date or something, you sort of get that feeling of like, so what's wrong with me? Like, what have I done?
Rejection hurts, and I'm perfect, so I didn't know what I did. I was like, that's evidently a you problem and not a me problem, because I know that I'm great. I'm a rivet in time. So yeah, I really didn't understand that.
It is weird, and like thinking back to the date where the COVID date,
COVID
gate, yeah. Like, it's one of those where like, now I look back on it as I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she might have just wanted a bit of action.
The intimacy side of it.
Yeah, because like thinking back to like the conversations beforehand and a bit of the flirting and the sort of like what stuff that had been said beforehand, I was like, okay, that would make sense if that's just what she wanted. And the COVID was conveniently, sorry, I'm not keen. Like, brush it off, next person. So it's a bit of a nod.
It is what it is. Like, it is really hard dating. I mean, this was like years and go back when I was on Tinder. This was like 2016, 17. And I did meet a few people in it, and I had terrible relationship after, even worse relationship to follow it. It was just literally, do you know the book series, A Series of Unfortunate Events? That was like my dating style at the time, where each person was, I'm not joking, worse than the last. I'm not even going to air this stuff out because it's so bad. It's like, it's not even funny. There's no possible way to make that entertaining for others. But then I met Chris on Tinder. Right. And I super like Chris because I seen him in his picture, and I quite like Seth Rogen, and he gave me the Seth Rogen vibes, and there he was, Amsterdam in the background. I thought, we're going to get along quite well for obvious reasons. And I super liked him, and he got back to me nigh on in the next hour, but his response was so like dry and almost like nasty, and I was like, who do you think you're talking to? So I got a bit of an attitude with him, and I try to sort of like use sort of questions to like drag him in. His bio was quite funny as well, because he was working for the NHS at the time, but he wrote in his bio at the bottom, by the way, I'm not a doctor. And that sealed the deal with the kiss. I was like, I love a funny boy. I love a funny boy. Like, you are absolutely, you've got the glasses, you've got the knitted hat, you've got Amsterdam in the background, and now you have charmed me with your bio. You've charmed me. You've got the job. You've charmed me. But yeah, absolutely fantastic guy. But I was really curious as to why the messages were so dry. So like, kept talking to him, and obviously he eventually admitted when we went on our first date, because I asked him, because he wouldn't tell me over Tinder, and I was like, why were you so standoffish? And he was like, do you want the honest answer? And I said, well, yeah. And he's like, I thought you were like a sex bot and you were going to start asking me for money. Because he was like, every girl I've spoken to on here as being like a sex robot. And do you know what? Most people would have been really offended by that, but I wasn't, because I thought, oh, you think I'm good looking enough to be like a sex robot to lure people in? Like, I was quite flattered by that, but I wanted to talk about it at our wedding and the speech, but I wasn't allowed to do a speech.
Like,
said no.
All this time, I've been a sex bot.
Can you imagine?
Goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye forever. I'm finished. My work here is done. I have tricked you for 6 years up until the point where we now need an illegally binding contract to keep us together, to make it very hard for you to leave, should you choose to do so. We can't afford to get divorced. If we wanted to, if he had enough tomorrow, we don't have the money to get a divorce. So unfortunately, I think he's stuck with me for the foreseeable future. So where do you think you'd like to sort of go in the future? Not with me, but like with other people.
I'll take you back to the station. That's how we can go.
No. I meant as in like, do you see yourself? Do you want a long-term relationship? I'm just gonna ask you up front. No. You had to think about it too long.
No, I do. Like, I feel part of me sort of like, like sowing the seeds and all this. It's like, no, I feel I've done that now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind. I think every person I've met on a dating app, I try and you do the dreaded. So what are you here for? Question.
Yeah.
But like, I try and be as honest as possible and just being like, I like communication. If you just want a bit of fun, tell me. If you want more, tell me. I'm so open. Mm-hmm. And I would like to go down the route of like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Potentially getting married. Oh! Having you scream down the aisle like,
don't do it! As this person looks like the carbon copy of me. Do you know what?
I'll get a cut out of your face.
Even better, a sex robot that looks like me. And there we go. It's solved. It's sorted. You get what you want. I'm not involved. Everybody's happy. Happy days. No, that's so interesting because I didn't know that you were actually interested in marriage.
I mean, I've never not been. Mm-hmm. So there's been a few. It's been a bit of like my dating history's been a bit of a rocky road anyway with like mental health and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's sort of like the moment where like something a bit more serious popped up. Right. I freaked out and. Annoyingly, they were sort of dealing with similar things, so they freaked out. And it was like, cool, that's the end of that then. And then since then, it's been very like patchy, but that's not because of like me. I guess me in general. It's more like we had COVID, lockdown. Yeah. It's like, well, when do you date in that?
When?
Yeah. When? So it's sort of like it's not been like through lack of trying. As much as my mum likes to go, oh, have you met someone yet? It's like, well, I'm actively trying.
Yeah.
Like
meddling parents.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Going home and seeing my nan, I'll get the question, have you got a young lady in your life? Are you courting?
They love to say courting, don't they?
Do I need to get out my big hat for the wedding?
Oh, the wedding hat, yeah.
So it is what it is. It'd be nice to actually just meet someone.
or get a sex robot, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm sure your nan wouldn't mind. You don't have to tell her. You don't have to say anything. You just, this is Pheebs. Can you actually imagine though? But like this thing just looks like a weird android version of me with like piercing blue eyes. It's just the blue orbs looked at
like
me.
Like Terminator just lighting up red.
Yeah. I accidentally they get set on fire and just the skin melts off. It's like the Terminator underneath. Don't put them around fire. They're not fire safe.
like why is your girlfriend melting?
I don't know. Right, well, I think that's all we've got time for today, fortunately for people watching or listening. So, yeah. So, next episode, if anybody is interested, we're going to play the Bean Boozled game because I've always wanted to do this. I've never actually played this before, but I've always said if I time travelled, I would go back in time and give like a medieval peasant a poo-flavoured jelly bean just to see the reaction. So, we might get to see that reaction in real life.
Is this you calling me a medieval peasant?
Yes. Because you talk like
you
one.
Come to my flat once and you judge my flat and you call me a peasant.
Degrade you.
Yeah, you degrade me. I'm not even paying for this.
No, I know. I'm such a dictator. But yeah, I was going to say, I am Pheebs. This is Luke. This has been If You're Into It. Are you into it? Who knows? But yeah, join us for the next episode. Ta-ra for now.